Is there anyone that isn't talking about this? Oh my, oh my, oh my. Steven Crowder and the contract or proposed contract, the Daily Wire. Interesting stuff. Remember seeing this a couple days ago. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over the place. Everybody's got a video. What's going on? Yeah. Now, do I have any special insight here that anyone else has already talked about? Not really. No. But I find it interesting that a lot of times this entertainment, and let's not kid ourselves, this is entertainment, right? This is a Hollywood picture deal. This is a record company deal. This is an artist deal, is what it is, right? And the entertainment business, I mean, I I was at a very low level, although I did work with a couple of big fish that you would know. Not going to mention names here. One of them has passed away, and there's some other people too. It's a slimy fucking business, guys. It is slimy. Now, like record companies, I can't remember the name. Yeah, hello, Michelle Guevara and Riggs. I thought I smelled a fishy smelling. No, I'm not smelling fishy today. It's my male parts. We should get to that one. Oh my God. Did you see the one with the it's never ending anyway. So I'm not saying anything new. Everybody kind of knows the story by now. But the entertainment business is a slimy ass business. The entertainment companies will hose you given the chance. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Zevlin, the my God, my glasses. I need to clean them. Zev is it? I can't read your name, man. I'm sorry. Zevian the Altar. Oh my goodness. Get out the binoculars. Wait, I better blow my screen up here a little bit. Oh, that'll probably. Oh, yeah, there we go. I didn't have it fully blown up. Yeah. Well, it's going to go on because my understanding is that Tim Pool is going to have Crowder on Monday's show live to talk about this. I believe Candace Owens was on yesterday or Thursday. Candace Owens was on talking about it. And of course, everybody and their brother has put together a video on this stuff. Now, entertainment business, they're in the business to make money. Okay. Daily Wire is an entertainment. Well, they're a news source and the commentary and allegedly, right wing or whatever. But they're still in the business to make money. That's why you go into business, as Ben says in this video, link below. If we all don't make money, we still got to pay this big salary. We're not a charity. We're a business. Okay. I get it. Totally understand. There are some, and I can't remember the band's name, but came out somewhere in the early, maybe mid 90s, something like that. They were sort of they weren't grunge, but they were sort of poppy, sort of oddball poppy stuff. I think they were out of Seattle, but I'm not sure. I can't think of the damn band's name. And they signed up for this big deal with the record. Oh, we got a record deal, hey, and they didn't use the proper lawyers and stuff to review this thing, and they basically got screwed. Essentially, what the contract basically said was, we're going to front you this money to go make the album. You have to pay that back. Plus, you got to pay this back. And then you got to pay that back. And then you're going to get 7 cents per record sold or some crazy thing like that. And they also had the merch deal. They have what's called a 360 deal, where no matter what you do, the record company gets a chunk, right? Merch sales, you sell T-shirts at the concert, record company gets a piece. You do a video or something on MTV or whatever. If there's money there, they get a piece of everything, right? And a lot of these younger bands, they didn't know any better. They didn't have the lawyers involved to look these contracts over. And let's be honest, these kids, mainly young, musicians, probably not all that smart when it comes to contract law. Who is? That's why you hire lawyers. They found themselves screwed. And so the entertainment business, if they can do you, they will, is the bottom line. So that's why you stock up with lawyers and you get people to look at this stuff. You don't go in there and say, oh, well, it's $25 million. Well, that sounds good. Hey, let's go. You got to look at the whole thing. You got to have it analyzed. You got to have a legal team. So Anyway, let's get back to this particular thing. So the story goes, and again, it's everywhere. Lauren Chan's got one. Tim Pool's got one. Jeremy from the Quartering has one. Jeremy Boring, the actual guy who did the talks with Crowder on this thing, went through the entire contract line by line and explained it. And I don't know if Jeremy Boring's a lawyer, but Shapiro certainly is. So I don't think there was anything in there illegal. It just the terms were not to the liking of Steven Crowder. Now, I was obviously by now Crowder put together one or two different videos talking about this thing and how he's going to get screwed and the big con, whatever the hell he's okay. All right. I understand his point to some degree. I do. But Candace Owen lost her shit, on Tim's cast, whenever that was, Tim Pool. And of course, Crowder kind of lost his shit. And Lauren Chen was probably the calmest. Lauren Chen used to be roaming millennial. Excuse me. And Lauren Chen was apparently offered a deal by Daily Wire a few years ago. And just look up Lauren Chen Crowder. You can find it. It's all over the internet. So it's about, 15 minutes in where she talks about that. So they pitched her a very apparently similar contract, and they lowballed her, and she turned it down because in her video she claims, well, it's because I'm such a wise businesswoman. That's why I was making more money than they thought. It doesn't hurt that you're not ugly. She seems to discount that part of it. I mean, she's not bad. Not my favorite. But she's all right, but she's sort of in the middle, kind of not really right, not really left. Pick and choose, cafeteria, I guess, conservative maybe. Falco Vaughn, hello. Good morning, wherever you may be. Hey, man. All right. So Chen's got one. Tim Pool, like I said. Okay. So I'll bottom line it for you. I don't want to take Shapiro's the whole thing because this is obviously a big money maker. And they might get a little pissy on the copyright. So we're just going to play a little bit of it to give you some flavor on what Shapiro has to say about the timeline of this whole thing. We'll get to that in a minute. So bottom line, Daily Wire pitched Crowder a 4-year, $50 million deal, $12.5 million a year. And they had an option to extend for 2. For another $25 million. So it could have been $75 million over 6 years. So pretty good chunk of change. Now here's the problem. There's several problems. One of the thing is Jeremy Boring, it was kind of funny the way he phrased it. It was funny. Oh, no, Stephen, the stuff you produce, you get to keep. We'll get into it here in a minute. But of course, out of that 12.5, Crowder would have to pay himself, his staff, his production crew, and produce the material, etc., and so on. And I don't know whether he had to get rid of his mug club deal because he makes a shitload of money on that. Again, I don't know. I don't know chapter and verse of this proposal, but we do know the numbers: 50 million over 4 years, 75 million over 6, possibly. Now, as Jeremy Boring says, and as Shapiro says, and as everyone knows by now, this was a back of the beer napkin. Well, it was more than that, but you get my point. This was not solid. It's like it wasn't a take it or leave it. It was like, okay, here's what we're thinking. What do you think? Okay. Well, Shapiro says they countered, or rather, Shapiro. I'm getting confused. Crowder countered with 30 million a year. 30. So he upped it to around 30 million. And I think he wanted some of the terms modified with respect to, who owns the shows, who can profit from the shows, blah, 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 blah. There was some other crap in there where if he missed the show, he would lose $100,000. That there was a bunch of, it's not simple. It's just a big pile of money, or a small pile of money, I think, depending on how you look at it. Maybe Crowder makes 150 already. He doesn't need the 50. Who knows, right? But he was with the Blaze, I guess. That was Glenn Beck's outfit. And I didn't even really realize that. I don't watch the Blaze, right? I just don't. Once in a while, Glenn Beck will come up on my feed, but it's not a go-to for me. Beck's all right, and some of his guys are pretty good. And I think Mark Levin's on that as well. And I like Mark Levin. Levin's he's a good, crusty old asshole, and I love that about him. Plus, he's a lawyer, has been in the administration of presidents and various other things. Audit 1917, Shapiro pro jab at are you trying to get me silenced again? Just the other night, Susan whacked my stream because I was apparently being a bad boy. Yeah, I know. No, I think he still is. I'm not sure about that. But you can talk about that in the comments. I can't really talk about it here yet because of what Crowder and because of what Shapiro and some of these other folks are saying. It's big tech trying to censor people. I mean, I was reading some comments on Lauren Chen's one, and some guy's like, well, Shapiro's this and Shapiro's blah, blah, blah. He didn't talk about the XYZ. It's because we couldn't. YouTube came out in January of 2020 and said, thou shalt not. If you mention any of this stuff, your channel will be terminated. No warning, no 3 strikes. Once, and you're gone. That's big tech censoring. They didn't want certain things to be said about certain things. And to this day, we still can't say certain things about certain things. So anyway, all right, let's get to Ben here and let him run through the timeline of this whole nightmare.
And I'll show you the timeline here, because the case here is that, again, this term sheet, he was so offended by it, he just had to speak up. He couldn't be held back any longer. He had to speak up on behalf of the little guy. Now, I'm going to read you the timeline of what happened during this negotiation and when he decided to tape his friend, his supposed friend, Jeremy Boring. So here is the timeline here.
Okay, prior to this, though, and I mean, for a lot of average people like myself, this is unfathomable. $50 million. It's never going to happen, right? That's NFL player type money. It's easy to make fun of people. It's, oh, they offered you $50 million. Ha! I work at the factory. I make 45. What are you bitching about? That kind of thing. But I mean, we're dealing with millions and millions of subscribers. We're dealing with real fucking money here, right? I mean, even Pearly Things, for example, just hit $1 million or so. I mean, the estimate is she's pulling in $400,000 or $500,000 a year on YouTube. So we're talking about real money, right? And when there's real money involved, there's going to be pissing and moaning. But anyway, the first sheet he got was just a proposal. It's sort of like a proposal. It wasn't, here's the contract. It was like, this is kind of what we're thinking. Where are you at? Go ahead, Ben.
October 5th, 2022 is when we sent Stephen the supposedly evil term sheet.
Uh-huh.
So evil. So you would imagine that if the term sheet was that evil, October 6th, he couldn't have held it back. How could you guys?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's making it. Yeah, I get it. I got a banana. So go ahead.
October 5th is when we sent him this term sheet offering him $50 million over 4 years plus a 2-year extension for $25 million.
Banana, $75 million total cash. I guess pretty much guaranteed as long as he didn't screw up too many things, right? But there are details.
Basketball player type money.
Yeah.
On November 2nd, Stephen called up Jeremy and said, I want $30 million a year and a bunch of changes to the term sheet. I'm not going to redline the term sheet. I'm not going to edit the term sheet. I just want you to send me a brand new offer.
Okay, so Crowder came back and said, I want $30 million. Okay. I think he makes about $30 million a year just on Mug Club. So, or at least that's the amount of money coming in. So, not really crazy money. For us, it is. With $30 million a year. What? But I mean, when you're playing in the big leagues like this, that's probably a fair offer for Crowder. He's very popular. Go on.
On November 6th, 4 days later, remember, this is after he's already sounded off. He's got the term sheet. He's had it for a month. November 6th was election night.
Yep.
You'll recall, if you're a Daily Wire fan, Stephen Crowder appeared on our election night coverage.
I don't know. I was with Terrence Popp and Karen Strawn and Lauren and Hammerhand over on Pop's channel. So sorry, Ben, I missed.
Everything was very friendly. Everything was very chummy.
And we had a good time, by the way. Maybe even more fun than you.
Everything was great.
Yeah.
November 14th or thereabouts,
Oh no, that was the 2022 one. I guess I missed 20. I may have been doing something with Chronic. I can't remember.
We decided that we couldn't meet his demands. That his demands were not rational in business terms, that he wanted too much money, and all the rest of it.
Okay, so 30 million a year by 4, 120 million, and the 2-year extension would be another 60 million. Yeah, that's a pretty big number. $180 million. That's some serious scratch. But I think the biggest thing, well, I mean, the money is one thing, of course, but it was the terms, I think, that really pissed Crowder off about who's going to own what, who gets to market this, and who does that, and who does this. Blah, 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 blah. Go ahead.
So we let him know, no hard feelings. We're still friends, just like we do in every contract negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
As Tim Pool said on his show last night,
Yep.
We've had contract negotiations with Tim, and we disagreed, and we went our separate ways, and we still like Tim. Tim still likes us, and all the rest. Okay.
I mean, this happens all the time. In this case, it turns out Crowder was with the Blaze. His contract apparently is done there, so he's no longer on the Blaze, I guess. Now, I don't know if there was a thing there with Beck, and he's like, we can't give you any more money, or blah, 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 blah. God only knows. We're not talking about that. But I mean, this happens all the time. They're trying to poach talent away. Like in the media, for example, they're always pitching contracts at people, right? Some big name in New York, hey, we want to get you on the national news, or blah, 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 blah. It happens all the time. And usually no hard feelings. But in this case, we got something else to talk about.
So November 14th or thereabouts, we told Stephen that we couldn't meet his demands.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward another month, December 12th, he registered the site Stop Big Con. Hey, that's
okay. This is interesting, because that's Crowder's sort of angle on this. We're going to stop Big Con. And I think what he's getting at from this, and we might go and listen to a little Crowder here in a bit. What he's getting at is that the tech giants are somehow influencing Big Con, Shapiro and the Daily Wire are big tech plants or whatever. I think who knows, right? But I think that was Crowder's biggest thing. But he did, a month before he got on and said all this stuff, he did get that particular domain name. So that's interesting.
That's when he registered it.
Yep.
Remember, October 5th is when he received the terms.
Yep.
November 14th is when we said we could not meet his demands. December 12th is when he registered Stop Big Con, because he knew that 3 days later he was going to be announcing that he was leaving the Blaze. He needed a plan, and attacking us was the plan.
Okay, so he announced he was leaving the Blaze. Okay. So yeah, it gets complicated in a bit of a hurry here. Susan wants Pearlie to succeed. Yeah, well, there you go. It's working. Johnny Midnight, you were being sarcastic. Gone with John, who broke down how she bought. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, you Pearlie? Probably, because I know, hello, Polska Bob is here. Oh my goodness. What's Polska Bob doing? I thought you were working, sir. No, we're not drinking. I have cold water. I have ice water. It's delicious. No, not drinking. Maybe later, maybe not. Oh, we'll see. Anyway, I know it used to be a big thing on Twitter, and I don't know if it's still happening. I'm sure it is. If there's a way to make money, somebody'll figure out a way to make money. Edom Warlord, hello. Puniti, bro. Ojit, I'm biased against fake conservatives like Shapiro. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I watch the Daily Wire stuff. I'm not a sub. But it comes up, and I mean, he's all right. He's not straight down the middle conservative or straight down the right conservative, certainly. And that's okay. I think it's good to get a variety of things to listen to. Because I mean, we're all living in this crazy world together, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean someone, say, who's a lefty, might not have a decent idea. I mean, I don't think it's fair to dismiss it out of hand, although it seems very, very rare these days that someone on the hard left has any idea except to, all white men are evil. Route 66. All right. Well, good for you, man. At least the weather isn't too bad, huh? I think it's supposed to snow here tomorrow. But anyway, let's get back to Shapiro.
December 15th, he announced he was leaving the Blaze.
Okay.
A month after that, he texted Jeremy. in friendly fashion to ask if they could talk.
Okay. Now, here is where Shapiro and a lot of people are saying, what the fudge? Crowder recorded this conversation apparently with Jeremy Boring is the guy's name. Now, recording someone on the telephone, it depends on the state. There are different rules. In some places, both parties have to know they're being recorded. In some places, only one party has to know, which I always thought was kind of weird, that you could call someone and record what they're saying. Well, so it's fine. It's legal. So maybe Texas, I believe that's where Crowder is a one party must know state. I don't know.
On January 9th, he called Jeremy and proceeded to tape him without permission, without Jeremy's knowledge. He proceeded to tape a person who was supposedly his friend. And remember, this is all based on the passion of the upset that he had over a term sheet that was submitted to him on October 5th.
Which he had already rejected. Right. So, yeah, I just don't understand. Someone's got sand in his underwear, I think. On this.
It is a month. It's actually 36 days
Yeah.
after. So January 17th is when he launches Stop Big Con. So just to get this straight, just to get the timeline straight, because this is what we would call a premeditated move in an attempt to grow your email list. This means 104 days elapsed between when Steven Crowder received the term sheet that we submitted to him and when he launched Stop Big Con. 104 days.
Okay, so October to December. Again, Ben talks fast, but basic idea, they pitched him the offer. He came back a month later, countered, they said no, and then he got this Big Con website. Okay.
And it means that 36 days elapsed between when he decided to attack Daily Wire and Jeremy by purchasing Stop Big Con and when he called Jeremy to tape him. So that means well over 3 months elapsed, again, between when he received this egregiously evil term sheet, which, by the way, is not egregiously evil. The term sheet is perfectly legitimate. It was the basis for further negotiation. There have been moves on both sides, but there's nothing wrong with saying to a person who produces a show, one, you have to produce a certain number of shows, and if you don't, we're not going to pay you for the shows that you don't produce.
$100,000 off the salary if you missed a show.
And two, if your show begins to lose money, you also lose money. This is how business works. This is how the media works. This is how capitalism works. We are not communists. We do not pay people in order to not generate revenue. We cannot run a business and keep it functional and employ 300 people and have the money to spend on all the wonderful projects that we like to do, on the $100 million we're going to spend on kids content, on the suing of Joe Biden's administration, on any. We can't do any of that stuff unless we're a profitable company.
No, you got to make enough money. There's no question about that. And I think I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, Daily Wire has 1 million paid users, so they're pulling in like 10 million a month, 120 million a year just from subs. That's pretty good.
We don't pay people just for the fun of it. So that means this is totally premeditated. It is an attempt to grow an email list by deliberately misconstruing terms of a perfectly legitimate non-binding term sheet for a person that I personally and Jeremy, have gone out of our way to help multiple times. A person who then claims that we are the big shills for YouTube, right? We're the ones who are shilling for big tech. So what's his claim on that? His claim is that we're shilling for big tech by saying that if you get banned from YouTube and we lose money because of that, then you also lose money. Well, I noticed that someone else makes the vast bulk of his living via the exposure he receives on YouTube, and his name is Steven Crowder. Steven has a bigger following on YouTube than I do. He has a massive following on YouTube. He's a YouTube superstar. He has 6 million followers on YouTube. He doesn't want to be banned on YouTube. By the way, he doesn't have to be demonetized in order to continue. The demonetization does not mean that he doesn't indirectly make money on YouTube. The exposure he receives on YouTube allows him to push people to Mug Club.
Yeah, the Mug Club, his subscription service, sure. Yeah, he apparently is demonetized on YouTube, though. But then again, anyone who is, if you get on Susan's naughty list, you're done. The only exception lately is a guy whose name will not be mentioned because I don't want Susan going sniffing in his business.
He knows this. This is why he has a piss off YouTube segment, which is smart. Right? He does the same thing on his show that I do on my show. Exactly the same thing. You will hear me on the show when I discuss COVID. I'm about to say a bunch of things I can't say on YouTube. So head on over to Daily Wire Plus and subscribe and hear the rest of it. Steven does the same thing. He says, he says, I'm going to have my piss off YouTube segment in which he avoids saying the things that will get him permanently banned on YouTube, but directs people to his site.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same thing that Terrence Popp does, right? So they keep it cleanish for YouTube for an hour or so, and then they go on the other places, the alternative media. Then they start talking, well, about things you can't talk about on YouTube, right? Because again, they're still ban people. They're shadow banning. I certainly think I'm a part of that fun stuff. The Daily Con can licks. Biden's been sniffing, huh? Hole, not who. What? What are you guys saying? Red Pill Pipe Hitter says, why are they, Daily Wire, putting in their house business? No. It was Crowder who did this. Crowder put this out. So, in case you haven't heard Red Pill Pipe Hitter, Crowder came out with a video a couple days ago that said he claims he didn't name anybody, but everybody freaking knew what was going on. He said it was this and that and da. So Crowder started it first, and then the founder, owner, whatever, Jeremy Boring of the Daily Wire came out and read through the entire contract for an hour. It wasn't really a contract. What do you call it? A spec sheet or what? A proposal, I guess. He went through every bit of the term, the money. He went through the terms. He went through the gotchas in there. According, there's some gotchas, right? If you don't show up for work, you lose $100,000, right, per episode. So the more episodes you don't do, the more money you don't make, which kind of, I guess I can understand. But the contract basically was 192 shows per year, 4 per week, and a 4-week vacation in the year. And that was for 4 years, 2 years, possible extension after that, for guaranteed $75 million, except for the caveats. And then Crowder came back and said, no, I want $30 million a year. So that would have been $180 million. So, yeah. I don't know, Zombro. I mean, it seems to be getting a lot of traction everywhere. Of course, Young Turks and, Vosh and some of these other lefties are in there. Oh, my, look at the... So, yeah. Anyway, I like chicks, too. It's... What? What are you saying? Mita from Finland is here. Hello. Let's see. There was one in here. Joshua Demers Productions. Let's see. Amazing how big this issue has gotten so quickly. I stay on the sidelines. How to see Crowder acting this way, but not at all. Yeah, it is a little sad because I think he's being a little bit much of a baby, but it's certainly getting eyeballs on Steven Crowder at the moment, right? Any publicity is good publicity, right? So who knows what's going to happen? But it certainly seems like there's. I mean, you throw a proposal. Crowder comes back with a counter. They say no thanks. And then why is there any more to it than that? That would be my big question. So yeah, I'm thinking you might not be wrong. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, TYT and Vaush are just going nuts. Sam Cedar's Majority Report also is doing some stuff. They're more on the left side of things as well. So let's see who's here. Prime. Seems like female energy to make a contract negotiation a public matter. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It could be just to get the eyeballs in Crowder and say, or God only knows. I'm sure he got a lot of, offers made. Well, he was on Fox, on the Fox network television for a while. He was sort of their jokester, right? You might remember some of his stuff there. And then he went over to Glenn Beck's deal. So, I mean, who else is there? Daily Wire. Let's see. I think, he could also do like a Joe Rogan, right? What did Rogan get? $200 million or some crazy thing to go to, who is I can't even think of the streaming name. What is the place? Spotify or something? Yeah, you got like 250. I mean, and this is really nothing new in the talent thing. Like, and I still can't believe, I'm not sure if it was Sirius or who the hell pitched. Howard Stern was hundreds of millions of dollars. It's like, okay. Same with Don Imus, right? Imus got a huge paycheck to be on satellite radio. And, some of these other, I mean, it's just, it's the entertainment business. I mean, if you can get it, get it. I mean, look at Rogan. You know, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's pretty crazy. Let's see here. Godfather, talent. I don't want to brag. I beat them all. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Kayfabe, wrestling style. I can see that. Okay. Wrestling. Yeah. 330 million on Spotify for Joe Rogan. Is that right? Holy shit. That's a lot of cheddar. That's a lot of cheddar, Zombro. Holy shit. Yeah, that's a big chunk. Definitely a big chunk. Now, again, there's probably a lot of details in there as well. You know, who gets the revenue from the ad on YouTube, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of crap. That's why lawyers are employed, right? Yes, Godfather, you are the coolest. You are the coolest. Spotify, Kotek's bleeding. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. See, what is Spotify exactly? Let me be stupid here for a minute. What the hell is it? Is it a website? Is it streaming radio? What is Spotify? Yes, yeah. Yeah, Mira, I do have Discord, but I hate it. So I never go there. Sorry. Sorry. So I don't know what Spotify is. Is it some kind of website or some shit? But I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff, right? There's Rumble and Locals, and there's all kinds of these places. But you know, to get a $330 million payout, that's pretty good. That's a chunk of change. Thumper says it's like Pandora, so it is like internet radio kind of, or video or something. Let's see. Well, hold on. Zombro appears to be up on this. Excuse me. 230 million salary, 100 million bonuses and perks. If you reach 5 to 8 million viewers, he has 11 million per show. That's why CNN and others are gaining for Joe Rogan. Holy shit. 11 million. Whoa. Well, good for him. But I mean, this is big league stuff, right? That's kind of cheddar you can get when you're a big name and you pull in people listening. So, yeah, let's go back to Shapiro and let him rant for a bit.
So is he a shill for big tech? Is he a shill for big tech? Because if he were really not a shill for big tech, apparently, he would just say whatever he wants any day. He would just say it any day. And if they knock him off, they knock him off. But he's not doing that because he's not a moron.
Mm-hmm.
Steven's not a moron.
Yeah.
He apparently is just a bad person. Tapes and then releases the tapes for personal gain.
Now, I think the whole taping thing was pretty sus, right? I mean, he called. Apparently, these guys are friends. You know, they hang out together, whatever. And he called Jeremy Boring to talk about stuff, and he recorded it. So, I don't know, Steven. That might have been a little bit, you know. I mean, if you had a serious proposal or something, you should send your agent. Let the agents work it out. You know, don't get your friendship involved here. It's business, as they say in The Godfather. It's business, not personal. Hey, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a little bit not good.
I'm personally insulted by Steven's behavior here. I'm more insulted. It has nothing to do with me because he hasn't actually said anything about me. It has to do with you don't get to attack my best friend and smash for big tech when we spend every day in this business attempting to fight big tech and to win. When you spend every day trying to bring good content to people who can't get it in a lot of other ways and who go out of our way to make offers to people for tens of millions of dollars so they can continue to promote, to provide the content that you want. Tens of millions of dollars to people like Steven Crowder. I don't see a lot of other people walking across the table to make this offer to Steven Crowder. The easiest thing to do in our particular industry is to attack your friends and make money off of that. The hardest thing to do in our industry is to win at business and to win against the left. And those two things are simultaneous. Because if you lose money, you can't keep operating and fight the agenda of the left. I'm
fair point. Can't argue there. Okay. It's time to stop. I didn't want to do this. Let's see. How much of this do we want to listen to? I think I'll go. Well, or should we do the second one? Because he has two. The first one was "It's Time to Stop," which was 3 days ago. And the second one is I didn't want to do this, and I believe this is where he recorded boring. Okay, let me just preview this in the background here. Okay, but you are looking fucking smug as hell here, bro. I'm serious. All right, we'll do this one. We'll have to banana it though, because again, high visibility on this stuff as of late. People are trying to make money. I get it. So let's go. All right. And when I said we got to banana it, you got to stop every 6 seconds or so. Okay.
They don't get
I mean, that is a smug look there, bro.
deals that
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand.
Okay, so that's Jeremy Boring, the chief CEO or whatever of the Daily Wire that Crowder recorded without his knowledge. Apparently, he called him as a friend, sort of like, "Hey, let's have a chat." You know, I know you turned it down. Blah, 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 blah. Who knows, right? We weren't there, and as far as I know, Daily Wire isn't accusing Crowder of doing anything illegal with this recording. It's just kind of shitty, really. All right, let's go back.
They can be wage slaves for a little bit. They can be wage slaves for a little bit.
Wage slaves for a little bit. Now, who knows what the context was? Who knows what Jeremy Boring is talking about at this point? He could be saying, I don't know if the full recording is out there, but one possible thing that could be being said in the context of developing new talent. For example, Hammerhand, he posted a community post talking about this Brett Cooper person who is on the Daily Wire. I mean, she's a child. You know, is she 18? And, you know, she got a deal over at the Daily Wire. I suppose they're trying to keep their, you know, keep hip with the kids. Keep those younger women, I guess, listening to the Daily Wire. But the point is, when you're in any entertainment industry, you start at the bottom and you literally are a wage slave. There's no question. Nobody starts at the top, right? When Crowder started, you know, years ago, 10, 15 years ago, whatever the hell it was, he was probably getting the bare minimum to be on Fox News a few times a week or whatever. That's the way it works. This is the way it works in any industry, really, but entertainment is particularly, well, maybe not particularly, but it sucks. You don't wake up one morning and get a Spotify deal for $330 million. You know, it's kind of like the overnight sensation in the movies, right? Or the overnight sensation, the rock band. Oh my God, they're so great. How could I read that? When they've been playing shitty clubs, you know, and small town bars and shit for 15 years, right? And they finally hit it big with a song, or they got a record that's good, and oh my God, they're so good. Overnight success. It only took 15 years, right? Same in Hollywood. It's like, you know, they're let's be honest, they're smoking a lot of dick. They're trying to get into a movie over in Hollywood, and they're going to start out with these small bit parts. They're making, you know, $20 an hour with free lunch or whatever the hell they get paid. And then nobody really notices them. And then suddenly it's Brad Pitt. And so how'd that happen? He's so great. Overnight success, when he probably, he worked for years, you know, getting coffee and whatever, or doing other shit before he hit it big. So retire, yeah, and then your 401k, right? Until you pass away broke. Well, yeah, that's the biggest fear too, right? I want to save enough money until I retire, and hopefully I'll have enough money before I. Anyway, go on.
God bless the talk boy. Those things are worth like $5,000 now. It's an expensive gag. So didn't want to have to do this, but Daily Wire out.
But you did, really. You didn't want to, so you shouldn't have. Come on, Steven. Come on.
Themselves very, very quickly. And sure enough, if you see all of the people who work there, some of whom I have relationships with, they immediately tried to make this all about money.
Okay. Yeah, no, I understand. But well, I mean, you did too, really. Go ahead.
Here's the problem. There are a few problems, and I'll go through with some receipts. Everything that was said about negotiations, how they transpired, beyond the numerical value, which is true, and I'll get to, everything else is untrue.
Okay.
I don't really want to get into that. It's completely irrelevant. Here's why.
Okay. All right. Yes. So the money part's true, but the other stuff isn't. Go ahead.
Go back to the 20-something minute video, 30-minute video. You've never heard me say or write anywhere online that these offers weren't paying enough money. Why? Because it's not about the money.
Well, you countered offered for $30 million. So come on now, Steve. Come on now.
It's kind of unreal to me that the only thing these people can still talk about is the money. The conversation was about conservatism, the movement, and big tech. They keep talking about money. I'm talking about a country. I'm talking about a movement. I'm talking about making a difference.
Okay.
It's not about the money. And Jeremy and the Daily Wire know that. How do I know they know that? Because after, according to what he said, I walked away from the offer. I did place one more call to the Daily Wire. And I made it very, very clear that it wasn't about money. That was not the topic of conversation. There was zero, as they've tried to portray this, miscommunication. It was one last call where the only thing that I asked for, my only demand, was their word, and not even for me, but for other people coming up facing these kinds of contracts.
Okay. No, I mean, it's fair. As we talked about with the record contracts, you go in there, you got your guitar, and you're gonna make a record. Or well, it used to be a record. Now you're gonna make an MP3 and post it. But then you get signed up for this garbage. These 360 deals with the record companies. They get a hunk of everything you ever do, and they probably still own your master tapes. Talk to Taylor Swift about that. Did you know? I'm sure you guys have heard this. Taylor Swift is re-recording every one of her albums. She owns the songs, right? She wrote the songs and all that. It's some complicated shit. But I think it's Big Dog Records or whoever her record company was. They have the master tapes. They won't not give them to her. So she's re-recording her entire freaking catalog, which is kind of crazy. But, I got to give her props for that. It's like, damn, Taylor, you just don't. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, she's going to make a ton more money because, she releases a new version of a song. It goes to #1 and gets tens of millions of spins and Who cares? Who cares about what? Michelle, why are you here? Why don't you care when let's see. I want a wife. Okay. Entertainment business has always been this way. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's a shitty business. And you will get hosed if you don't watch what the hell you're doing. Easter Sunday, entertainment business has always been this way. Crowder wants money for nothing. Chicks for money for nothing and your chicks for free. Well, thank you for coming by, Godfather. Always good to see you. Yeah, Dave, the side guy. Yeah, Dave is he's a comedian guy. But there was some talk about, there were a couple of characters on the show that suddenly disappeared. One of them, especially I particularly really enjoyed, and it's just vanish. So kind of interesting there too. Sci-Fi Nerd 1911. Hello, how are you? Let's see. Let's get that up there. Let's see. My buddy I'm hanging out with today has lunch with her. Oh, Taylor Swift, really? Yeah. I mean, hey, she I mean, she's obviously a talented person, rich beyond. You can't even imagine the kind of coin she probably has, right? I'm sure after she come out with her first couple albums, they renegotiated everything, and I'm sure she's getting well paid for. Is it Quarter Black? Okay, Quarter Black left. Oh, okay. Well, so did Not Gay Jared left as well. Those two. Okay.
Let's say it's a kid who comes in with 500,000 YouTube subscribers or something like that, 100,000. Let's say it's some other kid you're paying 6 figures to come in and do it. There's There's not the penalty of the demonetization, or if they're removed from iTunes, Apple, YouTube.
Yeah, sure there would be.
And here's something else. I was also very measured, painstakingly clear in taking myself off the table because it wasn't going to be a right fit. That happens in business all the time. But that we weren't talking about me. We were talking about the futures of other people who could potentially be in that position, that very disconcerting position. No miscommunication.
What I'm talking about is you're describing a model for everyone, not just, let's get rid of me here. Everyone, if there's a penalty for being demonetized on YouTube, because your business model requires that be a huge component of it, you need to change your business model or this movement cannot work, Jeremy. I can't imagine my show trying to come up and be beholden to YouTube advertiser guidelines, let alone, I mean, honestly, being beholden from a conservative entity with hard strikes, right? Being removed, but let alone being advertiser friendly. We know how broad those guidelines are.
Yeah, he's not wrong here. I'm not monetized, so I don't know all the gory details, but I understand for monetization, they recently put in some new rules where you got to be PG-13 and
They might as well just read, don't say anything offensive, and they change them at the drop of a hat.
And sometimes they don't even tell you. That's the bitch about it, right? So, you have violated our community service guideline. Okay, which part of it? Well, we don't really know, but they're in there somewhere. You need to go read them. It's like, okay, all right.
I'm not suggesting that the
Like the last time I got a strike, it was promoting violence or some crap. It's like, what in God's name are you people talking about? I wasn't promoting anything. I was just discussing Kanye West. Remember that deal a few months ago? They took the strike off, but it's like, what do you... That's probably a robot anyway.
guidelines aren't terrible. I'm suggesting that if making money off of those platforms is part of how you're justifying the salary you're paying someone, then or the fee I keep saying salary, the fee you're paying someone, then when those go away, everybody loses money. You can't pay the same amount with less revenue.
How about you create a different business model?
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Of course, telling someone else, hey, change your business model. I get it. I'm in no position to say that unless instead of Monday morning quarterbacking it, here's the thing. I didn't just offer criticisms. I offered a guide on how to, here's the deal. I want to sit at the table with people who, granted, have an immense amount of power and have incredibly deep pockets. That is all true, to be clear. And by the way, it's something that I want to have on our side of the aisle. But I offered a guide on how to do it. It is incumbent. This is what this is about. It is incumbent upon conservatives, if we believe what we say, to uncouple, to divest, if you want to use that term, from big tech. Right?
It's kind of hard to do that, isn't it? I mean, YouTube is big tech. I mean, if you want your videos to be on YouTube, you got to deal with their nonsense, right? But I'm thinking as Crowder's talking here, if you have this business model idea, you could probably implement it. I mean, you probably have some money and stuff. But put your money where your mouth is, right? I mean, am I being unreasonable? It seems like if he's got this great plan that he's trying to share with this guy, just do it himself. That's think I would call it. I don't know. Thumper. Michelle, it's called moving the goalposts. Change the rules after then punish you accordingly. Exactly. It's like playing a football game where the rules change at the whim of the refs. How could you ever play this game? It'd be very frustrating. Suddenly your touchdown this time only counts for 3. And their touchdown counts for 9 the next time. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Well, we like talking about car stuff. We want to talk about car stuff. All right. A little more Crowder. We don't want to get whacked.
The business models of the movement as we move forward to not rely on playing ball with Facebook and with YouTube. That is something that we have to move toward. You know that we've been trying to do that here for years. That's why every single show we say, hey, if you can watch on Rumble, please do so. We're not looking to be banned on YouTube, but at least we certainly won't compromise the truth.
Now, what was that platform that literally was yeeted. Do you remember that? It was either the social network one, or I can't remember. I always forget what it was called. You had to sign up for it, right? And they had to let you in. And then during the thing that happened in the at the end of November of some year. So sorry, Susan. They just they vanished because somebody wouldn't keep their servers running. Oh, that's the Parler. Thank you. Yep, Parler just got yeeted. So some people try. I think Trump, doesn't he have his own social media now? Truth or something. And then there's Rumble, and there's actually MGTOW TV. There's BitChute. There's some of these other places, but they're just not quite there yet, right? YouTube was kind of the pioneer. Well, not really. There were other pioneers. YouTube was the first one that really, really took off. I mean, it's unfortunate. Got to play ball with these people.
In order to be advertiser friendly. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Daily Wire, Jeremy. And I really do hope that we can talk at some point. Please, you can pick up the phone. We've done that.
Would you record them again? Oh, Stephen, what did you do? What did you do?
We here have found a way to make that work. For proof, see election night, our numbers on Rumble there, and see the numbers on Rumble when we get suspended from YouTube. I think it was 4 times this last year. And I went to great lengths to communicate that to the people at Daily Wire.
Right.
There can be no next me if the people at the top with the financial resources are doing the bidding. That's being the arm of big tech. What you just said is, well, we have to play ball with big tech if we want to make money. Well, I don't. Why don't you guys follow a model like I have and scale it? That's what I've been doing since 2014. That has been trying to make sure, which I thought we were all doing, that we can all flip the bird to Silicon Valley. This is saying we need him and you need to play ball.
And by the way, before some of you ask for this, look, there's always personal information on phone calls. And for the record, I've recorded 3 people on phone calls in my life. All 3 are involved with big tech.
I used to do it all the time on the radio. It was fun to get people. Oh my God, Hamster, can you play that song from Alabama? What's your favorite station? Q107. Yeah.
Just to be clear, the entire call transcript has been
I don't
sent.
even know what the hell radio does nowadays. Oh God, I just don't even listen.
To others to verify without hopefully having to release the whole thing. And I'll be on Tim Pool's show, I believe, on Monday to talk about it.
Right. He'll be on Tim Pool Monday. So go to the Tim Pool cast and get all that stuff. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Edom, but I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with that. As a matter of fact, I think it has nothing to do with it. It's you're a businessman. You're in business to make money, regardless of which God you happen to believe in. Doesn't matter. You're not gonna sign a contract like a marriage contract where you're gonna lose money. It just doesn't make any sense. So, and I mean, Shapiro's right. They got to keep making money in order to keep doing their movies and keep getting other talent and doing all that stuff. I mean, it's the way it is. We're not communists here. Thumper, radio's the same shit every day. You can say, I know, sir. I know. I used to work. Grumpy old man. Hello. How are you? You're the evilest. Well, I mean, I think we talked about radio shit once in a while. Yeah, it's exactly what you say. Especially the pop stations it's down to a science the way they do it. And so if you really, really pay attention, you'll know exactly what time. Well, they little example. They'll always do. You hear a lot of these places do. We have traffic on the 8s, on WJR, Detroit, or whatever the hell. Well, there's a reason for that. Traffic on the 8 is because they can sell the ad either before or after for a much higher rate. Because if something shows up at the same time, 8 minutes after, 18 minutes after, 20, people will be listening for that. They might be listening to, Johnny's rock show or whatever, but it's like, oh God, It's like 7 after. You know, I turn on WJR just for that brief time to see what the traffic is doing. It works. That's why they do it. I mean, we were supposed to do certain things at certain times because people pay extra to put the ad right when that certain time is. Seriously. People would use the radio, like, for example, they'd have the morning show on and they would hear the 6:35 sports or whatever. And so they'd suddenly, it's time for sports. Oh shit, 6:35. I better take a shower. I got to get to work, etc. Not even listening. It's almost like a little alarm clock. Tell all the secrets. Oh, it would take forever. But yeah, I mean, it's custom designed. There are very, very well paid. Well, used to be. I can't speak to it today. But there used to be these well-paid consultants who would come in and set up all this shit very scientifically. You know, I'm not necessarily talking about the talent, the people there, you know, telling their jokes or whatever, but there's timing and there's the music. When they play music, there's a certain time you play certain music. There's certain repetition of that music. That was called boss radio back in the day, where you'd be playing the top 10 hits every 90 minutes. Every 75 minutes, something like that. You play it, most likely it was an hour plus 15, because people also, for some reason, tend to listen in certain times of the clock. God only knows why. But yeah. So yeah, it's very, very scientific, very researched, very well understood how this stuff works. And so, this radio station, I love it. Yeah, well, you should. It's scientifically designed to make you like it. Ben always goes mental. It's fun listening. Well, yeah. Well, if you rewind, we did the first part with Shapiro talking about this, so it was pretty good. Hello from Greenland. Hello, Logos. Stupid cold here. I bet it's cold in Greenland. Yeah. Well, stay warm. Drink alcohol, I guess. Where are you at in Greenland? Like Thule, or where are you at? Just regular Greenlander, or are you up there at the military base? Because I went to school with a guy who did 2 or 3 years. Is it Thule or Thule? Yeah, there's like there used to be a base up there, I guess. With talent on loan from God. Well, I mean, that's another, big deal. Rush Limbaugh, he basically started out, if you ever listen to his story, if you're interested in radio, because there used to be, you can do it. You can do it, Amster. You've been to college. The Telecommunications Act of 96 or when the hell was it? Anyway, they took away all the limitations. There used to be limitations where you had to have, you could only own a certain number of radio stations and TV and newspaper. There was all these regulations from a long time ago. So Limbaugh kind of got in sort of when things were changing. And so everything was always about local, right? Oh, you got to talk about local shit or your thing will never go. You're all Eskimo brothers up there. Or is that a bad word? You're all Inuit or native brothers sleeping in the same bed. Yeah. Yeah. But so he got in sort of at the beginning of that where network radio stuff was taken off. And I believe the story was that somebody had some unused satellite time, because back in the day, and maybe even today, you could use satellites, you could rent them and send your signal up and, bounce it wherever you need to be. And Limbaugh kind of got in early because everybody said you can't do a national show, Limbaugh, you got to do a local show. People don't listen to national shows. And of course, everybody was absolutely 100% wrong. The big station in St. Louis, is it KMOX or I think that's Kansas City. Well, whatever. The big station here, 1120, they're all local. I mean, they don't have any of the network stuff on. And it's kind of disappointing because I kind of like that. It reminds me of WCCO, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the big 830. Which they're uber local, they don't have anything. They may have had sports at some time, but it was always the Jack and John show or the Sandy show or the Jeremiah show or whatever the hell, right? It was always local, talk Minneapolis, St. Paul. And that was okay. There were other stations that had the Limbaughs and the Hannitys and whatever. But yeah, I kind of miss, some of the network stuff because it's nothing wrong with local, but it's also kind of nice to hear the international stuff or the national stuff, like what the hell is going on in Washington and various things like that. And Limbaugh was just, one of a kind. They put on those two guys, I think, that are taking his slot anyway. It's just not the same. It's Clay and somebody or other, Buck. Yeah. No, not for me. But I wish them well, but just, Rush is irreplaceable. There probably will never. I mean, there's Paul Harvey was another one that's you just can't. There's nothing like him ever, and the same with Limbaugh. There's just nothing in the same ballpark. Probably never will be. Let's see. Thank you. GTA2S with Zeb. Hi. Telecommunications Act of 1996 also ensured that firmware of devices from that point were coded with some kind of backdoor. Oh, really? Though not every company utilized. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But they basically took the limitations off, so you could have. It was to have more voices for radio and TV, and so there were limitations on how many radio stations you could own in a city, how many TV stations and radio you could own. You could have an FM, but not an AM, and you could have a TV, but not an AM. It's all these kind of weird rules and that kind of mess that up. So basically, most of the radio stations in this country are run by Clear Channel, and God, what is their name? I can't think of it, but there's a couple of big three or four of them that are really big, and they own most of the radio stations. And most of the radio stations are automated. There's a morning show, and that's about it. James Von Maxwell. When are we going to be hearing you doing talk back with Tom Like? That'd be fun. Maybe I'll do some Likas here. He's fun to listen to. Yeah. MAC address. There you go. Everybody's got their own address. Yeah, just local. What will those poor people do when the national stations are trying to save them from... Yeah. So, yeah, St. Louis doesn't have basically no network radio, no Limbaughs, no Hannitys, no. Well, there is one of the stations, a tiny one. I think it's whatever. It's got Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, and there's another guy. Yeah, it's mostly all local. Your cough, tickle in the throat, is it gone? Ever since I quit smoking. Wouldn't that be funny? Hey, I got this tickle in my throat ever since I quit smoking. It's terrible. Okay. All right. So there's that drama. What else do we have here? I know what I want to do. Let's go to Canada. Pastak was out fishing. Oh, look at that. Look at that beauty, eh? Look at the beauty there, eh? Oh, but yeah, one last thing. Like this Brett Cooper chick.
Hey, guys.
She's on the Daily Wire.
Sword Lake, about an hour out of Edmonton.
50 grand a year. She's probably not making the big buck.
There's a camera.
And, eventually somebody will try to steal her away, maybe. And then Shapiro and those guys will have to pitch her a lot more money. It's just the way it works. You start at the bottom. There's no other way. Unless your family owns the thing or something like that. All right. Go ahead, Dak.
We're down the hole there.
In the hole. It's in the hole.
Here's Ron's station.
Where's the beer?
Let's see if we can. Oh, there goes a fish. See it?
Oh, yeah. There's a fish.
There's a whole pile of them down there. I don't think you can see the screen too good.
Looks like you got something kind of on the screen there that shouldn't. I'm such an asshole.
Block it. There's one. See it?
Was that a perch?
There's a whole
What the
pile
hell?
down. Oh, there goes
What
another
kind
one.
of fish is that?
See?
What kind of fish is that?
There's some.
Anyone know what kind of fish that is? I don't know much about fishing, but it kind of looks like a striped something or other. There's a breakfast show. You do drive. Yeah, well, maybe. Probably not, though. I would have to give up too much money because radio pays like shit. It's terrible. If you're on with Tom Likas, so you might do all right. It's a Canadian fish, eh? Only Canadians, have that one. It looks pretty tasty. You pull them out of the water, make some fish fillet sandwiches. Yeah.
Yeah, a little underwater camera. So there's fish down there. There's not biting quite yet. Hopefully they'll start biting in about an hour. But we'll see. Here's my station. My custom
Oh, look, he's got Coors there. He's got Coors beer. He's
custom
doing
chair I made.
Yeah.
The rod holder. You know,
Oh, it's not Coors. It's Rainier. Dak, you're drinking Rainier beer. Oh, my God. Rainier. I haven't heard of that one for a long time.
so yeah, just the mineral today. Nice here. Look at this. We have a fire going on the ice.
And that's what you're going to cook the fish with, right?
See?
Throw the fish on there. Yeah.
That's what we do up here in Canada. Make fires on the ice.
Well,
And
You gotta
there's our
stay warm
station
somehow.
there. This is mine too. So it just sits there and
but you don't have a tent, though. You're out there in the. Yeah.
we got a fish.
That's your measuring
Another one
device.
here. And Tony's bring dinner. Well, Ron is. We all are.
Yeah.
So there's smokies.
All right.
ears, cheese, pickles, a whole bunch of stuff.
Wonder how
There's
cold it
a
is.
couple guys out here ice fishing. Some guys over there. Guys got a tent over there. Couple
Looks like it could be
people
cold.
there. It's busy. It's busy. There's Tony's new truck.
It's a
What is
Ford.
it? 21? 21 F-150.
It's a Ford. Hopefully, it isn't the 5.7
truck,
Triton or 5.3 Triton, whatever. It was.
I like it. Beautiful.
You're not a Ford guy, though. What the hell are you talking about?
Beautiful
pretty nice.
machine.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I'm doing today. We're probably going to come back out here tomorrow too.
Mhm.
Do the whole weekend out here.
No, why not?
If we don't catch anything today, hopefully we'll catch something
I
tomorrow.
mean, look at how high the sun is. You know, up there in north, you know, you get the land of the midnight sun. I guess.
But
Be interesting. What time of day that is? Is that really like in the? Is the sun going down, or is that as high as it gets? I mean, they're not that far north, are they? Well, kind of.
there's been a lot of people fishing around here. There's holes everywhere.
Oh no.
So hopefully we can catch something. All right, guys. That's it for now.
No wonder what time it is, though. We'll have to get. I'll have to send Dak a message. Minnesota, 10,000 lakes. Yeah, land of sky, cool blue waters, and friendly people. Yeah, you betcha. 2 p.m. then. Hey, oh, Dak is here. Hey, hello. So 2 p.m. So is that the sun normally in the winter? It just gets barely above the horizon, or what? Oh, he's quite north. Yeah, he's up in Alberta. So, or is it Alberta or Saskatchewan? I can't remember where you're at. Alberta, I think. Well, did you catch any bloody fish then, eh? You want to come on and tell us how you caught the fish? I'll put the linky here. See if anyone's wanting to talk. Yeah, 2:00 in the afternoon. Let me look at where the sun is. You know, that's just after midday, and that sun is very low in the sky there. Hold on.
We're probably going to come back.
Come back out.
Beautiful. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today.
Where'd the sun go?
We're
Okay,
probably
there
going
it
to
is.
come back tomorrow.
So that's 2:00 in the afternoon. 2 p.m. That's as far up as the sun goes. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's like Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, samey, frozen tundra, and toques. Lots of toques. Well, yeah, it's starting to go down. So what time's the sun set? Probably what, 3:00? Something on that order. So the maximum is noon. So what is it, up here? Maybe? Is it sun gets what, up in here somewhere, and then that's as high as it gets? Because it's basically kind of your latitude, right? It's sort of the opposite angle of your latitude. Not exactly, but it's kind of. So that's interesting. Yeah. Well, cool. As long as the beer's cold, eh? As long as you got cold beer, I mean, that's what you need out there. Then again, a unfrozen beer is probably almost a little warmish compared, depending on how cold it is. How cold is it? Do you remember, Dak? No. Okay. Yeah. it's God doesn't even want to be here cold, probably. But it looked like they had food there. It wasn't like all frozen, so it may be not as bad. Yeah. We got onions and pickles, all kinds of stuff. Is that tater salad? That's my name's Tater Salad. Got hot dogs. That looks like a pretty good lunch. You got to get a shore lunch is what you got to do. Oh, look who wants to come in. Should we let him in? Grumpy.
G'day, mate.
God,
You
I
look-
might. 2 degrees above sea. What does
Two-
that mean?
what?
Two above. Oh, 2 above. So it was warm then. Two above
Ooh,
0,
okay.
which would be what, 34 Fahrenheit. That's not too
Okay.
bad. We got the
give me a
Aussie
minute.
on. Go ahead. Yeah, take your time.
Give me a minute. I'll flick on the weather.
That is kind of a heat wave, actually, Thumper, in far northern Canada there. Freaking heat wave. I mean, depending on how cold the winter would be, 34 degrees would be more like you go outside in shorts. You don't need a freaking coat because it's been so cold all winter.
19 Celsius.
In Australia,
Where I am, yeah.
that's 19. That's not terribly warm, is it? The conversion in my head is not as fast as it should be. Room temperature's like what, 20 something or? Geez, I don't know.
It'll
I'm
be
stupid. Yeah,
26 at 2 p.m.
All right, 26C
It's now
to F. What time is it? It's like Sunday something, right?
4:43, quarter to
afternoon?
5.
Okay. So it says 26 degrees Celsius is 78 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's comfortable. That's not bad.
Can you do Grandpa Simpson's voice?
I don't know who Grandpa Simpson is. I'm sorry. Who
You
is
know,
that?
the Simpsons cartoon with
I
Homer
never
and the
watched it.
donuts.
Never watched it.
And someone would say, Grandpa, or something
Oh.
like that.
No,
And
I never actually watched that show. Ever.
right now, there was a fantastic episode. You'd love this one. They went on holidays to Florida. So Grandpa Simpson was surrounded by puniti that was bit, Bit
Put
whiffy?
a little show on him for him, or floppy or fat. What are you talking about?
70, 80, 90 odd.
Oh God,
Not out?
Old, yeah.
Well, that's where I live.
Oh really?
So if you go from the west coast of America to the east coast of Australia, in terms of how far we are away from the equator, we're lined up pretty well with California
Okay.
and Florida, that sort of down the southern end of the states.
Mm-hmm.
So if you move over the Queensland, New South Wales border into northern New South Wales, that's a bit like being up top end of California and getting into Oregon and that. And where I am is a bit more like Southern California, weather-wise.
Okay.
But with San Francisco, there's that bay. So you don't get Pacific Ocean waves crashing on the beach. You've got a nice quiet bay to swim in. So if the hamster was visiting sometime, if he managed to have a holiday in Australia and he could go for a swim there, it's a bit like some days you get up in the morning and it's not real windy and it's like a swimming pool, except it's salt water.
Okay.
So it doesn't have chlorine in it and it's bloody nice.
It's got sharks, though, right? You get sharks.
No.
No sharks.
No. They're in other places and there's shark nets and all kinds of things. There's no sharks where I am, mate. Seriously.
They got saltwater crocs, though, right? The crocs are going to come and get you. Or the
No,
drop bears are
they're
going to come out
further
and
north.
for lunch.
They're further north.
I know, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, much further north.
Up there in Alice Springs, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's
Oh,
supposed to be
Alice
in Alice
Springs,
Springs, right? Yeah.
Alice Springs, there's they only have two kinds of temperature, two kinds of weather. Hot, and then some kind of swear word hot.
Effing hot, yes. Pretty warm up in Alice Springs. So that's basically northern Australia. Which state is that in?
Pretty much in the
Northern
middle.
Territory, yeah. So they're kind of central.
But because it's in the middle, it's like being in the desert. So
yeah,
you've got the what do you got? The Rocky Mountains going up the west coast. And if you're on the west coast, you get more rain, and then you go over the Rocky Mountains a bit, and it gets a bit drier in the Midwestern areas. And same in Australia, all along the east coast, you get more rain close to the coast, and then once you get over the mountains into the middle, the further you go away from the coast towards the middle, it gets hotter in the day, colder in the night, drier. They say that the Sahara Desert is a bit bigger than what we've got out in the middle there, but we don't have one desert. There's 7 different deserts with broken up geographically for various reasons. There's some deserts there, one's in Western Australia called Tanami, and that's just sand dune after sand dune after sand dune. And then there's another one, and that's more like South Australia where it's in the middle, and it's called Sturt's Stony Desert. So Sturt, Sturt without the A, something like that. And it's his Stony Desert. And the reason why they call it a Stony Desert is there's nothing but rocks. It's like a rock garden.
Yeah.
Here and there, in between the rocks.
Where do you say that is? Is it west, you say?
Sturt's Stony Desert.
Okay.
So if you typed in Stony Desert, maybe.
All right. Oh, we go right to the United States. Okay. Stony, Stony?
Stony, Australia.
Okay. Well, that's what it goes to right there. Oh, you
Yeah,
have a
okay.
really crazy part there. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Is there any roads out there? Nope.
Now that lake,
Wow.
that lake is one of the real seven wonders of the world. It's one of the biggest lakes. Oh, mate, it just goes on forever and ever and ever. You know how people talk about how long it takes to walk across one side of your block of land to the other side, and then how long it takes to drive or ride a horse and so on. I went over that thing
Sure.
in a jumbo jet, and I looked out the window and I could see it. And 3 hours later, it's still down there. It just goes on and on. And in the middle of it, it is below sea level. So if you had a siphon hose,
Yeah.
once you got it over the hump, the seawater would fall down into it and it'd be permanently wet. But it rains 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 times every 100 years, heavy enough in the catchment area that it gets full of water.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Because we have, I'm just trying to find some pictures or something so we get a feel for it.
Hang on.
Get a feel for it. Oh, okay.
I'm a little bit like Terence Pop in that I'm not that afraid of doxing myself. So you look. Hang on.
I would be. We can talk off. We can talk offline, but there's some danger out there. So I don't think I would give any information away, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, I
It's up to
won't.
you, but I don't think I would.
Hang on.
I don't know. Did you send me an email at some point? I can warn you about something.
Yeah.
Here you go. This looks like
Because
eastern Colorado and
what I don't have is I've got one of these copper wire phones and I've got the internet,
oh yeah.
like a landline phone, and I do email. I don't do Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff.
No. I don't have any of that shit either. I have no interest in that kind of crap. But check this out. This is in Colorado. You know, Rocky Mountains.
Oh,
Great
yeah,
Sand
yeah.
Dune National Park. Looks very familiar. What we just looked at in Australia. We're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
This is really
one
interesting
thing that
because it
happens-
turned out there was a
One thing that happens in the desert is they got sand dunes like you see in the Sahara or Saudi Arabia, and it's just sand dune after sand dune after sand dune, but the color's different. There's places where the sand is red, the sand is gold and white like you see at the beach. It's darker brown. But there's firecrackers. That
the heck
happens a
was
bit
that?
around here.
Oh, okay.
And it's bloody noisy out there. Hang on. It's bloody noisy out there because it's first light and all the birds are out there now. Bloody huge
Oh, yeah.
cockatoo and ugh. But what I normally do at this point is I put on hang on. What do I bloody do? Okay. Yeah. Don't say the word at the end if you don't want to, but that's a radar weather map.
Okay. You put it in the private chat?
Yeah, it's on the right-hand side in the private chat.
All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. I see. That's kind of where you're at?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah,
No,
so
Australia's a big country. It's a big country.
and
It's a big continent. Yeah.
that's another one of the 7 wonders of the world. You've all heard about the Great Barrier Reef and Ayers Rock.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
Now, what happens here is it's called the Great Sandy Region. And what's going wrong is there's a current which is close to the beach, which is running north. So the current picks up sand and goes north. So about halfway down between Brisbane and Sydney in New South Wales, there's a beach called Coffs Harbour, and that's hundreds of miles away from where I am, and it is all rocks because this current picks up all the beautiful white sand and pushes it north. And all this sand kept dropping and dropping and dropping and got bigger and bigger and bigger. So all of those islands that you can see that form Moreton Bay and that are the little ones that are in behind the big ones, there's nothing there but sand. It's not a volcano that rose up from under the water. It's one of those sandbars that you could strike and get stuck on when you're in the Mississippi River, in the river.
Oh, yeah. Where's the sandbar at?
Well, that's what the island is. So the island was a sandbar, and the sand just kept coming until it got big enough to be an island.
Which island? Does it have a name, or where's it located? Like this one?
Yeah. Have you heard of the Gold Coast where Surfers Paradise is?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's South Stradbroke, and the bottom end of South Stradbroke is a little gap, and you can quite narrow. You could fishing boats in and out and swim across it and all of that. And the top end of that is a thing called the Southport Spit. And you know that bloke Trump?
Oh, okay.
And he builds these resorts like Mar-a-Lago. We had a bloke like that back in the 80s, and he built one there called Sheraton Mirage. And oh, mate, you want to see it. Heaven on a stick. And then there's another one he built way up the top end of Queensland, up at Port Macquarie. No. I'll remember it eventually. Up past Cairns anyway. But you've got South Stradbroke, then there's North Stradbroke, then there's Moreton Island, and then there's one that's much closer into the Sunshine Coast, and that one is called Bribey Island. Now, that one's close enough in that it's got a bridge, and there's heaps of sand dunes and so on. It's a bloody beautiful place to live. You mate,
I bet.
you would give your left, you know what, cut it off to have a nice place at Bribey Island. It is heaven on a stick, better than any woman. It's incredible. Absolutely wonderful. But when you come back down again, that first big one, Moreton, there's no bridge to get out there. The only way you can get there is on a ferry. Now, when you get off the ferry,
No kidding. They have a ferry. Yeah.
there's no roads. None. Not one. So you come off the ferry ramp and you got to have a four-wheel drive dune buggy style thing with the sand tires so you can get around. But the whole thing is sand dunes like out in the desert, except because of the rainfall, there's trees on it. So you get incredible forest and surfing and fishing, and it's also very MGTOW. So if you were one of these MGTOW type guys like Aaron Clary or TFM or Better Bachelor, where you don't really want to live in the heart of New York or Los Angeles, you get yourself a nice shack over there and off the grid where it's got LED 12-volt lights and rainwater tank, and you've got a solar-powered dry toilet that you don't flush. And the ferry, you can go back to the big city as much as you like, but if you don't want to, you could bloody go for a walk, sit on top of a sand dune for 6 months and just sip a beer at dawn and watch the sun come up and then go for a swim.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. And then catch a fish and chuck the fish on the barbie for your breakfast.
Of course. That's what you do in Australia. You put it on the bobby.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Whatever you like. And then on the inside of that island, you don't have all these waves like you get with the Pacific Ocean. So it could be like a swimming pool. So it's a real quiet place to have a little swim and go fishing. Whereas on the Pacific Ocean side, you might want to be mucking around with surfing and jet skis and so on. Now, there's a yacht club around the corner from where I live. So there's people with yachts, and there's people who you heard of the grey nomads? You familiar with that?
Not. No.
You're kidding.
I'm not. No.
Okay, well, a few years from now, you retire. Okay?
Oh, this must be mangroves over here, huh?
No, this is you.
I'm guessing.
This is you when you're ready to retire. You don't move to somewhere and buy a house or rent one. You just have a Winnebago and go driving and pull up wherever you like and cruise around the place. And if you come into some town and some of the Sheilas are unattractive, well, you get back in the Winnebago and move on.
Go to the next town. Yeah, for sure.
And the next town, there might be some Sheilas who aren't too bad to look at, and you wouldn't mind staying, and you wouldn't mind playing them some music or serenading them or something.
Get on my guitar and sing them a song.
Yeah.
Sing some Men at Work or something, or Midnight Oil.
Yeah. Women love music. Absolutely. It drives them crazy. There was this musician who was in a rock band in Australia back in the day. What sort of era are we talking? Early 70s? Early 70s. So comparable to and reasonably not heavy metal, but rock and roll.
Sure.
Fairly popular. You'd like the music, actually, probably, if you look for it on YouTube. And one of the guys, he was called Billy Thorpe.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on.
Children of the Sun. Yeah, I remember that. If
Now
it's the same guy. Yeah.
Now, when I was in high school, part of the curriculum, and it wasn't the sex ed.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. No. We had a program in school, like those military schools you see where there's kids in uniform, cadets. And I was one of them. So because they thought we were all a budding Terrence Pop, they wanted to warn us about the hypergonosyphilades. So there was this guy who wasn't joking it up all that much. He was just like Tucker Carlson or something or other asking questions, doing an interview on Fox News of Billy Thorpe, from Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs. And he said, mate, groupies, we rogered them senseless everywhere. 3 ways, 4 ways, all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I had a regular appointment with the doctor to get a jab up the bum. So, promiscuity is, high body count ain't too good for you, mate. You want to have her to have a low body count, no hymen, no diamond, and you probably
down.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Started to go.
Hang on.
I'm trying to get it when it comes sliding off.
I'm trying to play this Thumper video, but it's not showing up. Let me refresh it.
Hang on.
There we go. There. That's what it's like in northern Michigan right now, sir. Lots of snow.
Oh, hang on. Ooh. How cold is that?
I don't know, Thumper. How cold is it up there? It's probably cold. Probably not terrible, but I guess this is going to slide off the roof here. Let's see.
Oh, I know what you could look for.
I think I see some liquid water. So it can't be too cold. Get out a broomstick or something and hit the roof. There it goes. There we go. That's an impressive snowfall. 27 today in northern Michigan. Yeah, that's warm. That's not bad.
No. Hang on.
I'm hanging.
Ooh.
That's a fair bit of snow there, Thumper. It's not terrible, but
Now, on the right-hand side, can you see that Google Maps link?
yeah. Hang on one second. Let's see here. Yeah, I got it. Let's see what it looks
British
like.
Columbia, Canada.
British Columbia. Oh, yeah.
Now, my auntie and uncle lived in Vancouver. He was well above average income because he was a doctor and extremely good. And they had a waterfront McMansion on Bear Lake. So they could go boating and fishing and so on the lake and ice fishing in winter and all that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think Primo, BC is here. Primo, I think it's British Columbia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lake. Can we get close to the lake? Yeah, we can. There we go. No, I thought we were, but maybe not. It's very nice, though. I love that kind of pine tree action. That's nice.
Yeah, now the other problem I've got, and that was in a comment that I put from those two videos you did yesterday, and you had one for 46 seconds and the other one that went on for a few minutes. I go to this cafe.
I gotta get rid of that one.
And I sit down and I look out across the bay, and then I turn the opposite way and I can see this waitress walking towards me all the way from the kitchen through the cafe across my tables. And mate, oh my God, she looks pretty good growing both directions. So I've got beautiful bay and beautiful bums, on the best bums on the bay. The real problem, though, is the bloke who owns it. Oh, God, you should see his missus. Oh. He's
pretty nice.
He's Chad, and she's a cheerleader. And they're both Serbian. So she's got that East European look with the blonde hair and the blue eyes and the hourglass figure. And, oh, my God.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Simping. An Australian simp. If you go back a bit and you're a PUA type and you're simping to try and chat up lines on chicks to pick them up. What would you say is your number one line, the ultimate compliment that you could say to a Sheila?
The ultimate compliment you could say to a woman. I don't know. What do you think?
I'll type it on the right.
This is Calgary. 12. What is that? 12, 20, 122.9 per liter. Holy Jesus. All righty. That's not cheap. All right. That's terrible. That's terrible. I mean, she'd have to be really hot for that, man. She'd have to be really hot for that.
Yeah, well,
well, it's 1:16, so I'm going to check out. I got to go eat lunch, sir. So you go get your swim in.
Well, I've got to pull one of those beers out of the fridge and go for a walk down the beach because it's
sounds like a plan.
dawn.
All right.
Sun's coming up. Have a swim.
Have a swim and a cold beer and just enjoy life. I like that idea.
You have fun, mate. Look after yourself.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. We'll probably be doing something later, so feel free to pop in if you want to.
No worries. No worries. Well, I go in and out, you know. I'll keep you going for one more minute, less. I do this absolutely terrible thing, and I won't even type it. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll flick on the computer, the laptop, and I won't turn it off when I leave the house. So YouTube is on, and it'll be on one of those playlist things where it just plays one video after another, 500 of them.
Sure.
So I'll flick on Jimmy, the ginger hamster.
Yes, sir.
And go for a walk. And that could be going for hours.
Oh,
does the YouTube algorithm know that I'm not there actually watching it? All it knows is the view count's gone up a bit.
I don't know. I'm not sure YouTube knows if they know if someone is watching it. I don't know if they know you're there actually watching it. Maybe.
God
only knows.
Every now and then, if there's not much movement, I'll get a little message flash up on the screen. Click to keep viewing. But I don't see it all that often. I really don't. It's just
I think I know what you mean. Yeah,
I go here, I come back. Oh, click. I'll go downstairs and do some gardening. Come back up. Oh, it's there. Click.
Huh. Yeah, it could be that they're looking for mouse input or something.
Yeah.
If you don't move your mouse for a certain number, they're going to ask, "Are you still there?" Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's again, everything you do on your computer is getting reported back to someone. So Mr. Snaky Pliskin wants to know what kind of beer you're going to drink because he says it ain't Foster's because that's not actually Australian. For beer, it's Canadian.
Hang on.
Oh, here we go. Cooper's, yeah, ultralight, non-alcoholic.
That's not quite true. It's 0.5, half of 1%.
Right. Yeah.
They've got another one, which is more expensive, and it's got 0.
Really? I have water. 0.
Well, I do too. I drink a lot of water, but every now and then I'll have one, take my time, really enjoy it. And this one's real beer. And that company is the only one that's Aussie owned.
Oh, is that right?
Literally.
Hmm.
Literally. Now, in my local area, in the industrial estate, there's a brewery there, but that's one of those little backyard jobs, you know, your boutique microbrewery.
Microbrewery, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're springing up all over the place. But in terms of, you know, your Coors and your Millers, your big companies, all of that's foreign owned in Australia. This is the only one that's left.
Most of our beer companies, the big ones, are owned by InBev, which is Belgium. They own Budweiser.
All right.
They own all the big ones. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that explains it. There was the two big breweries here. One of them was taken over by a Yankee brewery. So it'll now be owned by Belgium. And the other one is owned by Japanese Asahi.
Okay. Yeah. 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 InBev, let's see what it is. It basically owns everything. Because you might know St. Louis, where I'm at, is a big Budweiser, right? There's a huge plant, and you know St. Louis is kind of known for Budweiser and various things. They were bought by InBev a few years ago, 2008. So they're still here. They're still making beer. You can get fairly freshly made Budweiser if that's what you want.
I think Trump had the right idea, and we need to get back to more shares in American companies being owned by Americans, and more manufacturing back in America. I'll give you a little article link sometime on that subject in one of these chat, just while I'm actually on, or through email.
Sure. So I'm just looking at this webpage now.
How do I put my email address here in the chat for you?
Oh, you just type it in.
Okay.
Or just send it to me. It's let's see, James Von Maxwell.
Oh yeah. And that's Google.
Yeah, Google, Gmail. Yeah.
So James Von Maxwell at gmail.com.
Yep, that's it. And if you don't
remember that,
it's also in the about on the channel. So if you forget it, it's the about tab in the if you go to the main channel.
Okay.
I'll put in the about there. So yeah, shoot me an email. Let me know what's
okay.
Up.
Well, I'm gonna bugger off and have a swim with the sharks and have some breakfast and I got fruit and yogurt this morning in the fridge.
All right.
Yeah.
I bought some beefsteak yesterday. It was on sale, so I'm gonna have that probably for supper.
Ooh,
nice little lean beef and maybe some onions and stuff, vegetables. Yeah, that'd be
ooh. Now you're talking, mate. Now you're talking. Oh.
And a couple of 24 packs of beer. So,
24.
No. I just kidding.
I told you I had an uncle who died from grog, didn't I?
You may have, yeah.
One of these days, I'll send you an email. I'll tell you how much he drank. Anyway, mate.
You take it easy, man. Have a good walk, and probably talk to you later.
Yeah, look after yourself.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Bye-bye. Gone with John. That was I'm a grumpy old man from Australia. Gone with John is here. Oh my God, we got all the big boys in the chat now. We got Thumper and Gone with John. Oh, it was hit by. Speaking of that, I don't have any more torpedoes of Guinness handy. That's terrible. I might have to make a trip over to the store, get some Guinnesses. Now, it's supposed to rain and snow tomorrow, so I think I'm going to make some chili. I think it might be a good chili day. And what the hell? You know, I've got the beef. I can cut it up, put it in the thing. Onions. Now I'm getting hungry. Or more than likely, I'll just order another damn pizza. No, I can't do that. I'm kind of surprised with pizza. It's so damn expensive. You know, I mean, because Domino's sends me this email, right? And there are other places here in town, but Domino's is like, it's 10 minutes away. It's pretty handy. It's not bad. Get the thin crust is better. And it's like, oh, you get 2 medium, one topping pizzas for $14. Or hey, that sounds great. And you order it and it's $35. So what the hell is going on here? How does this work? I don't understand. They probably charge you for delivery or something. Yeah, a lot of things make us fat, especially beer and pizza. Yeah, that's true. Bags of Mountain Dew and Cheetos. After all, we're a bunch of incels living in the basement. Where am I? I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, in the United States of America. Can't drink anymore because you're raging. Really? Yeah, I like beer, but again, the plan here last week was a little bit off, but generally no beer during the week. And so you have that first one on Friday after work, and it's like, holy shit, one beer. And I'm like, they have hard Mountain Dew nowadays. You know that? They have alcoholic Mountain Dew. I don't know what it tastes like. I don't know anything about it, but so I'm told is you can buy that if you want to. Red Scout, I'm trying to behave. Yeah, I know. I'm totally with you. I don't know. Just get these Jags once in a while. It's like, got some more beer. And it's just, come on. Don't be stupid. But at least I don't drink and drive. There is that. So I was going to look up one more thing here because the Aussie guy was dragging us all over Australia. This one bridge. Where the hell is that? That's where they have the it's Canyon City, isn't it? No, it's Canyon City. Yeah, there it is. There's a big old bridge here. I don't know if you guys it's pretty hairy. Where the heck is that bridge? It's here somewhere. They have a tunnel too. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Maybe we'll look at it later, but it goes across the Arkansas River, I think. Yeah, there's the Arkansas River. So it's pretty cool. It's probably not this one. It's probably farther up the road. But anyway, so what's on tap for later? Undead Chronic was wanting to do a stream. I don't know if that'll be today or tomorrow. Chronic and Hammer did one last night. Might just do some streams for the hell of it. I mean, we're done with the Crowder thing, but there's more. There's more amazing atheists we could talk about. There's another guy that's ripping apart the manosphere. Might have to tackle that. I don't know. We'll see. Thumper. Now I have Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, can conditioned, made in Chico, California, and Mills River, North Carolina. It's good beer, and it's not like having nasty in a canoe. It's got some heft to it. I like it. Of course, there's Guinness. Is another empty can I have on my table. Guinness, by the way, is only 5.6%, so it's not really all that much. Considering, what the hell is the pale ale here? Does it even say? Because a lot of people are probably, ours is, this is the same. 5.6%. You get that stuff that's 10% or whatever. It's like, what the hell am I drinking here? Oh my God. I don't know if he's attacking MGTOW. I'm sure. Who knows? Amazing Atheist. Again, I think he's a very intelligent guy, very smart, which sort of went against his argument about people without education. Of course, he didn't finish high school, but education and being intelligent aren't necessarily related, right? You don't have to go to college to be an intelligent person. You could go to college and be a dumbass. You got your 6-year degree in gender basket weaving. It's not really helping you, right? So, yeah, he's on and off again. I mean, I'll watch him. He's kind of funny. Then he does some weird stuff. So, but who doesn't, right? Thumper the Sweaty. Beer and Jeremy, 12%. Good God, 12%? That must have been like a double bock or triple bock or something like that. Oh, my God. That's just not even enjoyable. You know, I like to, have a beer and it's not going to, you don't have to choke it down. But I think like double and triple bocks or that sort of thing, they get really high alcohol. And it's like, why? Well, you get really drunk if you just have, I don't want to get drunk. I just want to drink some beers. Jeez. Yeah, most education isn't indoctrination now. Yeah, that video that we talked about last night, that's what Candace is saying, is that, these colleges are just left-wing brainwashing factories. That's all they are. So is it really of any value to get your brainwashed? That's true, Gone. Yeah, Thumper would probably know. He was a hoe. He was a garden tool back in the day when he was in the military. Smooth, a Pilsner. Yeah, but geez, 12%. That's like drinking straight out of a vodka bottle or something. Ah. Of course, that's 40%, but you get my drift. Oh, you make moonshine as well, Rusty, yeah? No chorus today either, just moonshine. Is that right? Well, you and Thumper should talk because he makes his own fuel as well. So, yeah. He's a German, but born in Nebraska. Yeah. Well, not everybody could be born elsewhere. Somebody's got to be born in Nebraska, I guess. I like Nebraska. I think it's all right there. I have no issues with Nebraska at all. Get on the west, especially. You get out by, is it Shadron or what the hell? Out there west where the the wagon trains went through and all that stuff. Pretty cool out there. All right. I'm going to wrap it up, get some lunch. Might do something later. I'll try to maybe schedule it in advance. But for sure, Undead Chronic might do one later. And I know Hammerhand's doing one tomorrow, the Sunday sermon, 6:20 p.m. Central Time. So Jimmy Bones is from the Panhandle. Yeah, it's not bad. I would go a little bit further north into South Dakota. So there's no income tax to pay. I don't even, Nebraska has income tax. I don't know. But I know Sodak doesn't. No, I remember that. Do you have time later? Oh, John, don't leave us. What are you doing, man? Or do you want to do something later? Like, I don't know, supper time or right after? All right. Well, we'll tentatively scratch that in maybe 6 o'clock, 6:30. Okay. I'll shoot you an email. We'll set something up maybe 6:30 tonight or 7, something in that order, depending on what else is going on. If there's a bunch of streams at the same time, we can reschedule or do it different times. So. Oh, Polska Chaos. I was going to say you did something. Don't leave me, John. We're just trying to work out a stream here. Me and Thumper are going to talk car shit. It'll be fun. We're going to talk about the proper weight of oil to put in your car. And the proper heat rating of spark plugs and, fun stuff. Fun stuff like that. All right, I'll shoot you an email, Thumper. We'll do something later. All right. You can leave now, Gone. Be gone with John. Don't forget, he's got 2 channels now, the Hog. So go subscribe to both of them. Red Scout's got some Carlsberg. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. Okay. You guys have a great one. I'll talk to you and Thumper later. Join us. We'll see you. Bye.